There we go. Hi there, stampers and crafters, and welcome to our Friday class. Today we're going to be playing with Paper Pumpkin, and I'd like to welcome everybody aboard. I am filming live today both on Facebook and on YouTube. Woot woot! So welcome all of you who are able to join live, and those of you who may be watching the replay after. We're going to be playing with the June Paper Pumpkin, which was the Box of Sunshine. I did a reveal video on that and did a couple of alternates in it. Today I'm gonna show you a couple more alternates, and I'm gonna show you how to create some really cool backgrounds using the Tasteful Textile folder and the smooth sailing dies. Although you could use any dies, simply just swapping out the dies, you'll be able to do this technique, and it's really cool, really fun. So these are the cards that I'm gonna make two of them. I'm gonna share the rest of them with you. They all use the same techniques. Before we get started, though, because we are live, let me see if I can. Technology's a little wonky with me today. There we go. Woo! Okay, I'm giving away my very last. This is my very last Paper Pumpkin pop-up scrap bin. And so I'll draw the winner of this on July 17th, and all you need to do to enter is leave a comment here in this video. Whether you're watching live or watching the replay, leave it on the video on either Facebook or on my YouTube channel, either one, and I will be drawing the winner on the 17th and posting that on stampwithtami.com under the winners page. So good luck to all of you. I appreciate all of you being here, and if you're new to my channel, be sure to subscribe. I want you to catch all of the fun that we have here every week. All right, so next up, because we're playing with Paper Pumpkin, this is kind of important, and that is that the Paper Pumpkin deadline is today. Today's July 10th. If you're watching live or watching the replay the same day, it's July 10th, and it is the very last day to subscribe for Stampin' Up's July Paper Pumpkin kit, which is going to be called Summer Nights. And there's also a special add-on that you can do, and you can purchase that add-on in my online store. So you can subscribe. You need to subscribe to the kit now. I believe you'll be able to purchase the add-on tomorrow if there are any left over. But the kit itself, the deadline is today. So make sure if you're a subscriber that you're active. If you're doing a one-time purchase, that code is in. All the information on how to subscribe and do that is on my stampwithtami.com blog under the tab in the menu called Paper Pumpkin Kits and Gallery. And the video that we are recording right now will be there too, as well as the resource pages for all of my previous Paper Pumpkin videos. As with all of my classes, I have a free PDF that accompanies this, and it has all of the measurements, all of the supplies, and photos of all of the projects that I'm going to be sharing with you today. So it's a great resource. It also has a link back to this resource page where the video that we're making right now is going to be always posted. So you can always go back to it if you want to rewatch it. If you missed a step or can't remember what we did in a certain area, you'll be able to go back and rewatch it at any time simply by going to the URL there or clicking the QR code. Okay, so with that, let us pop down to the table. This is the Paper Pumpkin kit that we're going to be playing with. This is June's Paper Pumpkin kit, and we already made these cards in my reveal video. They're super fun. I showed you everything that's in the kit. I will also link that video on the resource page, so if you want to go back and watch it, if you missed it, you can. You can also catch it on my YouTube and Facebook channels. These are the cards that it made, and they all have matching envelopes, and it made 2 of each card. Super, super cute, right? Summer themed, and then the box. Then you decorate the box after. On that video, I also did these 2 alternate cards from the kit. So you can catch those as well. We are going to be doing different alternates. Actually, I'm going to share some different alternates with you right now, and then we'll do some stamping. So I'll come back to these 2 because after we do, after I show you how to make the other cards, you'll see how easy it is to make these. Because I made custom background using the die cuts here on this one, and then here I used the cards and the silhouettes here from the smooth sailing dies. And the smooth sailing dies are what we're going to be using for the cards today, that in the Tasteful Textile folder. So these are the 2 that I'm going to be creating today. I'm going to show you how to make a custom background using this Tasteful Textures folder. This is the folder here. I'm going to put the package up because you can really see the design in the folder. Oh, am I upside down? Oh, I'm so sorry. Let's see if I can find out how, like I said, technology, it's not on my side today. Let's see. If I can figure out how to fix that. There. Yay! Okay. All right. So hope that answered all the why is everything upside down questions. Because Tammy has technical problems today. All right. So hopefully we're right side up. Nobody's getting dizzy and nobody's standing on their head anymore. If you are still standing on your head in your yoga pose or doing your downward dog, you can stand up now and you should be able to see straight. So the Tasteful Textile folder is the one that we're going to be using to create these backgrounds. And I used the die. I'll show you the die up close in a second. So here these anchors are actually embedded in the background here to create this designer paper. I'm going to show you how I did that. And then this is really cool. Do you see the anchors in it? Using that same die, the anchor die, I'll show you how I created this one next. All right, so let's see. Yeah, thanks. Benny says, at least it's fun. Hey, I always got to keep you guys on your toes or in your yoga pose, whichever it is. So let's get started creating these. I'm going to start with our words, which are heat embossed. They're heat embossed and done exactly the same on both cards. So I'm going to take our Versamark ink pad, and I am using the By the Dot stamp set today for the words, just for the words here for you, because I like the lighthouse. It reminded me of the Hope, and it just reminded me of like a sympathy card or you know, a thinking of you card. I also used this stamp set recently with its coordinating die to create this beautiful watercolor wash card. So I will link this, how to make this card, that video in class, in the resource page of the one that we're making right now, if you want to go back and check out that one too. All kinds of ideas for you guys today. Okay, so we're taking the Here For You, a Versamark ink pad. We're going to emboss white on black. Very trendy right now. And before I do that, this is the if you forget it, you will regret it step. I'm using the Emboss Buddy. I know, gasp. Can you believe they retired this in the last catalog? I am just, oh, no. So, if you didn't get in on that, you don't have an Emboss Buddy, you didn't get one before the catalog retired, didn't realize that was going away. A good alternate to keep the static down is like a little Swiffer, you know, the Swiffer wipes, something like that will keep the static down, especially when you're going, we're going to be embossing white on black or dark. I really find static, it's not your friend. You're going to have all kinds of little specks stuck to your piece of paper if you don't do something to keep that static down, especially if you live in a really dry climate. So I'm taking some white Stampin' Emboss powder. I'm going to pour that right over the top. You can see we don't have a lot of flex in there because I did use the Emboss Buddy. But again, Swiffer or another tool to keep that static down are good. That will help you there. You can do it without it. You're just going to probably get some extra flex that you probably don't want. You'll have to flick extra hard and kind of use a little brush to get them out. If you have to, though. All right, next up we are using the heat tool to heat up these words. And that's going to melt this powder. I always love embossing. So fun, and it's such a wow. All right, and there are our words, and then we are going to trim this out with a pair of paper snips. You are going dryer sheet. Thank you, Stephanie. That is a very good tip to keep your static down. Dryer sheets, something we all have handy, right? And then I also have a couple videos on how you can use that dryer sheet after to make cards, make cool cards. All right, so we're going to trim out kind of tight around the words there with just a little bit of a black border. Through the magic of video, I have done this for us, not once, but twice, because we're making 2 cards and we want the same thing on 2 cards. So when we're done, this is what it's going to look like. It is really cool, right? Very trendy. Our catalog actually has words like this. Was it the last mini catalog had words like that? I don't know if the new one does or not. Okay, so next up we are going to start with our designer series, our own designer, our own designer background. So in order to do that, this is the smooth sailing dies are what I'm using. You can do this technique with any dies though. That doesn't have to be the smooth sailing dies. And I'm just going to bounce real quick over here and show you, because mine is kind of messy here, and I just, whoops, let's see if I can figure it out. Okay, here we go. Paper pumpkin, one more, and no, still no. But those are classes that I have linked on the resource page. Here we go. This is the one I was looking for. Thanks for bearing with me, you guys. You know, even if we're not standing on our heads anymore to see the video, it's good that you guys got patience with me. Thank you. I know it's Friday. It feels like a Monday though, doesn't it? So this is the die set. It's a lot easier to see here than it is in my kind of jumbled up envelope here. And it also matches the Sailing Home stamp set. So it did come as a bundle last year. Now they're available separately, but they are still available and very, very cool. So this is what we're going to be using. And I'm going to use the anchor and the lighthouse from this kit. And through the magic of video, I have already done this. So I have pre-cut, and I would say, I don't know, anywhere from 6 to 8 of these little anchors for our card. And I figured since we have the dies out, let's just go ahead and do all of our die cutting at the same time because I like to work like that. So I cut out a couple of the lighthouses out of black. Now this makes our silhouettes. So this makes our really pretty silhouette cards. I cut a couple of these out, and depending on after I make the video, you can decide whether you want to cut out 2 or 3. Totally up to you. So before I put the die cut machine away, I'm going to show you how to make the frame, the floaty frame. So on the very first card, we have what I'm calling a floating frame, because it has this. It looks like the lighthouse is kind of suspended above the card here. I'm using vellum to do that, and I cut this frame with stitched rectangle dies. So these are the stitched rectangle die set, and I'm using the 4th and 5th largest dies. So counting in from the top, the back, you know, the outside in, the 4th and 5th largest. So I'm going to take both of those, and I'm going to take a piece of black cardstock, and I'm going to line these up just like that, and I'm going to run them through the Big Shot, or the new, if you get the new die cut machine is coming out from Stampin' Up! In August to demonstrators and September to customers. So if you're lucky enough that you're watching this and you're able to get your hands on one of those, or you're watching this later, you use that or whatever die cut machine you have handy. All of them work, you know. These dies work in all of them. So anyways, run it through, and when you're done, it cuts this frame. So it cuts right in between these two. Oops, sorry, I'm just holding them there to make this frame. And then I went ahead and took the larger of the dies. I know this is kind of a staple, Denise. I'm with you on the loving the dies. This one I think everybody must have. So here I'm going to cut with the 4th largest. I'm also going to cut a piece of vellum. And it appears to me that when I was bringing down my stuff, I don't have vellum. Oh, go figure. You know, one of those days. That's all right. We can improvise. You guys with me on that? Yeah. Thanks. Okay, we'll make it work. We can make everything work. So we have our frame. We're going to cut the vellum from the 4th largest piece. And now we're going to start with our background. Now, I've got a white piece of paper. All of the measurements are on the... Thanks, she loves the sound effects. All of the measurements are on that PDF for you, so you don't have to write all these down furiously while we're going. And I'm going to take up these pre-cut, and I use Seaside Spray for the color here. Totally up to you though, because you could really make these any colors you would like. And we are going to take, I'm looking all over the table for my stamp and seal. I'm going to take the stamp and seal, and I need my, here we go. I need one of my silicone mats. If you like liquid glue, you can use that as well. Whatever your preferred, adhesive is. You know what? I heard a great tip for the stamp and seal. I'm just not having a good day with it. I heard a great tip for it. Unfortunately, I didn't do it when I first got this one. So when you first use your stamp and seal, when you very first, these are brand new adhesives. When you start using it, kind of hold it up like this. And then when you're done, kind of twist it so it breaks off. And that'll keep it from gumming up and causing any little issues. But in the meantime, I'm going to find another seal that I have around here to use for today's video. Okay. I wish I had seen that video, and I feel like I'm going to make my own. But I wish I had seen that video before I went crazy with mine. All right, so I'm going to just kind of put these randomly, and as you can see, I'm going off the edge, and I'll show you a little trick. I'm kind of twisting them and doing all kinds of fun little things with them. Got a little extra piece I don't want in there. You can make it as full as you'd like or using less. Totally up to you. Okay, so when you get up to the top here, or any of these on the side, we're going to trim these off anyways. So if you want to trim that off and you want to add a couple of extra pieces with that, you can. Like a little something there. And then we will take the snips or your scissors and trim off the excess. And yes, the silicone mat is fabulous. That is another staple. That and the take your pick tool, I feel like I need to have handy always. So I am just trimming here off the pieces that overhang. I wasn't meaning to trim the white piece, but it came off anyway, so I guess that's a bonus. All right. I love you guys. Thanks for thanks for keeping it real with me. Okay, so when we're done, our piece is going to look somewhat like this. And we are going to take that Tasteful Textile embossing folder. And we're going to put this in it after we have our dies already on it. Go ahead and put that in it. Take your die cut machine. Now I've got a couple of notes here with the die cut machine. The first is I am using an older Big Shot machine, and I have a blue plate that we used to sell because these new folders that Stampin' Up! Sells were made to go with the new die cut machine that's coming out next month. And so they're slightly different widths than the old Sizzix folders were. And so in order for them to work in the Big Shot, you need to either have a shim, or if you don't have this blue plate, what I was doing, which worked really, really well, was taking that silicone mat that we were just talking about and your cutting pad and putting them through like that. I found that silicone mat made a really nice shim. So if you don't have the blue plate and you are using an older machine like this, if you're using one of the new machines, you don't need to do any of this. You'll automatically be good to go. So I'm just going to run that through the Big Shot machine, the die cut machine. And here's the magic. When we're done, the anchors are almost embedded fully into the background, so they make this beautiful, beautiful background. And it's really fun. And again, you can do that with any dies in this folder. Just kind of flattens them down, and it's a neat look. One more thing that I did on my original that I didn't do on this one, but we'll just kind of go over after, is I took the Sahara Sand ink pad and a sponge. I sponged on my original. Let me see if I can find where I just put it down. On my original, I sponged around each anchor before I put it down. This time we're just going to sponge around the edges of the whole thing. And then maybe I'll put a little bit, just to kind of age it a little bit, we'll do a little bit in the middle. Now, while we had that folder out, if you wanted to, you could take that lighthouse that we cut and run that through and emboss that too so everything matches. You can take that frame that we made and run that through if you want to. You don't have to do any of that. It looks awesome either way. And all right, so now I am so now I'm at the point where I want my vellum and I forgot to bring it. So let's see what we can do to improvise for the vellum, because the vellum in this particular card I think is so cool. I feel like that is like the kicker here. So I have an old card over here that I'm going to show it to you real quick, and then I'm going to dismantle it and take the vellum off. This is how we reverse engineer. So this is just a different one that I did with different colors on the background and a couple more dyes. Really cute. Okay, so don't look. Don't peek. I'm just totally taking the sucker apart so we can use the vellum on it. Sorry, card. I'll put you back together later. Oh, so funny. Okay, so the only thing is this already has dimensionals on it from the pieces. I don't care. We're going to go over them anyway, so I just want you to see how I did the vellum. Okay, so pretend those pieces aren't there. I can make anything work here. The show is going to go on, and I am determined to show you how to do this, regardless of what challenges are in my way. Okay, so pretend this is a clean piece of vellum, not used. We're going to put that back in that textile folder. I'm going to run that through the die cut machine. You know, a lot of times some of my Stamp It demonstrator group, my girls in my group are like, I'm so afraid to go live. What if I make a mistake? I'm like, do you not watch my videos? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, you make a mistake and you just show people how to recover. I feel like that's half of my video is showing somebody how to recover from a mistake because, hey, they happen all the time, right? So, anywho, for demonstration purposes, pretend this is a clean piece of vellum. So after we've run that through, look at how cool that looks. It's like a frosted frame. And then I'm going to take that, oh, where the heck, here it is. We're going to take this frame that we made, and we're going to put that around the edges. Thanks for being able to use your imagination with me today. And because we cut the outer edge of this frame and the vellum from the same die, they'll be the same size. So we'll just put that on there. Make sure none of that vellum peeks out. If it does, like there's a tiny little piece up here that I want to trim off. There we go. And because I took that off the other card, there's a couple pieces of the other card still on it. Okay, and then we'll take, I used black dimensionals here, so nothing showed. So we have, you know, the black Stampin' Dimensional pack comes with the big ones and the small ones. Comes with both. And we're going to use both right now. So the larger ones on the lighthouse. I am partial to the lighthouse that was textured. I think that one looks really cool, but totally up to you. Then we're going to flip that over. You can see on my original card I already had that done, but we're going to put the little guys, because we want them to be hidden on the back. And then we can attach this to the background paper that we just made. So it looks like the frame, it looks like the lighthouse is floating. It's got a soft background right behind it. Isn't that pretty? If you have any little dimensionals peeking through, you can kind of tuck them under so you don't see them. All right, and then all we need to do here is assemble, and we are all set with this. And this assembly, just stamp and seal or snail. And if you look really closely, you're going to get a peek at what we're doing at on the next card for the next technique for the background. All right, so I'm putting that on a card base, which is here. And then we're going to take our words and those small little black dimensionals again so they don't show, and just put them on the back of the words and this card. Whoops! Oh gosh, it's not quite done yet. I don't want to miss this beautiful metallic seaside spray ribbon. And so let's see if I can do this. All right, tuck that under. Let's see how many times I can reuse the same piece of vellum. All right, and then let's see if we can get that. Just, you don't need as much of an overhang as that, but just for demonstration purposes, I'm just gonna kind of tuck that under there. I would have done that before I adhered so that it didn't, you know what, let's do this. Normally I would have done that before I adhered so that we wouldn't be putting this back up again, you know, pulling this back up again. But since I didn't, let's do something a little bit different. There we go. So we've got a little, I don't like this one. I'm just going to cut these at a little bit of an angle, and hey, we're going to go in a different direction here. So we've got a little bit of sparkle behind there. And then our words. I know I just put dimensionals on the back of our words. What did I do with them? Oh, yeah. Okay. So our words with the dimensionals, use your imagination there. We're going to put them on top, and I'm just going to swap out with the original, and voila, here we go. So that is the card when we're done. And now for the second technique with this folder. It is such pretty ribbon. I know I didn't want to finish the card without the ribbon because I really felt like the ribbon makes the card. It's so pretty. Okay, so there's one more technique that I wanted to show you on creating background paper with this same folder and the same anchor die. So this is basically, I mean, I don't have the vellum floaty on this one, but it's very basically a similar design, right? But we have a slightly different technique here with the Sherry, you rock. She saw that go. The original words got stuck to the stuck to the ribbon. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Okay, so basically a very similar layout without the floaty piece in the middle here. So here's what we're going to do to create this background. This one's much more subtle and really, really cool. Teresa says, I think you can use that vellum one more time. I think you're right. Just goes to show how sturdy that is, right? Okay, so I pre-did a little bit of this for us. Now, this is very similar to the step I did with card 1. I have attached all of these. I attached the lighthouse here in the middle. You do not have to do that. I only put it there for placement so that I know where to place my lighthouse when I'm done, and I'll show you what I mean by that. And then I just kind of randomly put, and it doesn't matter what color you use here. If you have white scraps, if you have old scraps of cardstock that you don't even like anymore and you just want to get rid of, use that because you're not going to see it when the card is done. So I'm just going to trim again, exactly like we did in the first card. So it looks like this. And then we are going to get that Big Shot machine and that Tasteful Textile folder. Bring that all back into view here. Or whatever die cut machine you happen to have handy. And we're going to put this through. I'm putting it through upside down. But it doesn't matter really because I think it pretty much comes out the same either way on that folder. You guys see that okay? Now, when you open it up, and maybe you saw this with the original, so because we basically did the same exact thing as we did with the original. This has kind of embedded our dies into the cardstock here, but if you look on the back, this is hard to see on the video. If you look on the back, you have these imprints of the cardstock in the shape of the lighthouse and the anchors. So now I am really gonna, this reminds me of rubbings. Remember when we were kids, we did rubbings? I know sometimes we still do them on gravestones. Our loved ones, I've seen people do that before. They've done a rubbing on it. So I'm gonna take, unfortunately, I don't have a separate sponge, so we're gonna take the same one I used in Sahara sand, clean it off, and reuse it. That's how I roll. I'm just wiping it off here because, like I said, show's gonna happen no matter what. No matter what this day throws at me. All right, so just gonna lightly rub that, however dark you want it, over the top, and see how those just pop when you do that. You can see the imprints really, really awesome because they'll get darker. It is cool, isn't it? And it, like I said, it doesn't matter what color cardstock you use to do this. So if you have old stuff you just don't like and want to get rid of, go ahead and use that. You know, so this is a great use for it. And I mean, if you wanted to, you could leave it like that, the lighthouse in the middle. You don't have to do the lighthouse if you don't want to, because I'm actually going to cover that up. I know, gasp. So you could keep going. You could make this darker if you wanted to. Have some fun with it. All right, so we've already done our words. I already cut them out. I already embossed them and cut them out we did them together. And then I've got a lighthouse there that's embossed with that same textile folder. So I'm going to go ahead and stick those on there with black dimensionals. And then, oops, so I'm going to flip this over so it faces the same way, so it just covers up. And I was just using the lighthouse on the back side for placement, so I would know where to place this, and I would know where to place my anchors when I was putting them down. But hey, you know what? This card would look really cool even if you didn't put this silhouette on top. And I did it again. I'm not pressing down. Okay, this ribbon is from the Flower for All Season. It's a trio pack of ribbon. It's got some Seaside Spray twine. It's got this. It's got, I believe there's a green ribbon in the pack too. This is like linen almost, this white. It's a really nice ribbon. And so we're going to attach that to the background. And since I didn't press down on this, it's pretty easy to pick it back up again. So let's put this on the frame. Okay, so bye to our back, which was the front in the last card, right? It's reversible. Right, Dawn? You can use this technique for so many other things, so many other die sets, so many other themes that you can take off from this. I went nautical because it's summer and I was in that frame of mind. And so we will just go ahead and attach that to a card base. I'm just going to use Whisper White today. Now on this one, I just did a really light rubbing with the sponge and the ink pad just because, you know, for video. This one, I went over it a couple of times for a darker one so you can see the difference there. It's all a matter of, you know, what you like. And then to top it off, I took some of these holiday rhinestones. And I'm going to take the navy ones and I just put 3 of those down below. And if you really wanted to, you could make a light out of that one. Put it up there for your light. And that is our second card and our second background technique. And I'm going to pop back really quick to those paper pumpkin cards because I used that technique on the paper pumpkin cards that I have since, oh, there they are. I have since put them in a safe place. So these are the 2 cards. These are the 2 background cards that we just did. And So this is just, this is the paper pumpkin kit, articles of the paper pumpkin kit, and alternate with the silhouettes from that same die set. Just plain, this was a card background that I used. And I cut the card up, put the back on the top, and then the back of the card I used for the inside of the black. So there was no waste there. This is another card front for the background here in that lighthouse silhouette. These two label pieces also come in the die set. And the third one, and when I say you can do this technique with any die, these were the die cuts that came in the kit. And I did the same technique with them. I attached the die cuts down on the white paper, ran it through with a Tasteful Textile folder. And this is how they came out. And I'll just show you. These are the pieces in the kit. And you can see this again in the reveal video. But I just popped these out and put them down and ran them through and did the same technique with them. So lots of cool things that you can do with that Tasteful Textile folder and creating your own backgrounds and some cool techniques there. So I hope you have enjoyed this class and gotten some great ideas here for the June paper pumpkin. And don't forget that this is the final day of the, and let me see if I can actually get back to the right one this time. This is the final day of the July paper pumpkin subscription period. So this was the June kit here. And if I keep going long enough, let's see, I might eventually get us to the screen I'm looking for. Here we go. Yay. Today's the last day for this. Summer night. So you can subscribe to this at stampwithtami.com and click on Paper Pumpkin if you're not already a subscriber. And if you are a subscriber, just make sure that you're active so that you get this kit. And you can also purchase those add-ons to this kit if you want to extend it in my online store. All right. Well, thank you for joining me, and I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. Have a great day.